My name is Asuka Shori Ulangule. I just transferred here. Hello everyone.
You'll sit there. Next to Shinji.
Okay. Huh. Asuka didn't waste any time. She used her mindless violence on me right from our first meeting.
The drawings are a bit weird. They look kind of weird. Although there is an anime that is also weird if you remember that one funny bit. With that one boy who looks absolutely weird. Was sort of like the Japanese version of Family Guy. One of the characters in the English dub was voiced by the same voice actor as the English dubbed Android 17, so nothing is entirely wrong with that. However, this isn't ideal tsundere stuff either. She is shown being mean to Shinji both in front of other people and in absence of other people. Helga from Hey Arnold is who I consider to be the ideal tsundere. She calls Arnold blockhead and treats him poorly in front of other people, but she has a deep crush on him and writes deeply romantic poetry to express how she feels about him. That is tsundere. This story framework seems to lack the element of differentiation or bipolar likeness you are supposed to see from true tsundere characters, in which they are really sweet and thoughtful, but due to certain situations, usually peer pressure, that prevents them from acting this way in real life in front of other people. It is sort of like a tragedy story in which girl likes boy and is romantically in love with said individual, but there is a conflict of interest at work that prevents that love from manifesting. So for Asuka, her menace would be her reputation as a strong person. In absence of other people, she would behave like a pure love-struck woman eager to get Shinji's cock in her mouth at all cost. Of course, Shinji is a completely different matter altogether. He is a deeply unlikable character as he lacks any redeeming qualities, thus making any tsundere bound between any character and Shinji is just ridiculous horseshit. First, no character could be that horrible in real life. It is like making the worst person possible as a male protagonist. You have to make a balanced character at the very least. Yes, Shinji could have some less redeeming qualities like he is cowardly, but he should be made to also have some redeeming qualities as well, like he is thoughtful, considerate, knowledgeable, passionate, and aggressive as fuck when he is pushed. They should have made him become batshit crazy when he choked Asuka. Hey, you like this, don't you? I like it too when the life flows out of your body. Die for me, Asuka. Die for me. Ahahahaha. That is dark, but it gives him more than just being a male woman. More of him showing assertion when it comes to what brings interest to him, like cooking or some sort of hobby. Otherwise it makes little sense why he is still alive. He would have to possess some sort of interest just to avoid suicide. Sort of like a character without balance as a means, give him some balance between aspects that can be positive and negative to his character. He is passionate about cooking. He is knowledgeable about a lot of things. But he does poorly in his schoolwork because he has little interest to interact with other people. He is cowardly, not because he actually is cowardly, but because he doesn't like violence. This implies he doesn't avoid confrontation. He just doesn't fight back because of his beliefs. This would stress Shinji comes from a unique culture of Buddhism in utilizing passive aggression and restraint for self-conflict, because is supposed to be key to how the Evangelions can be used in combat. He actually wants to be assertive and cruel. He has a deep sickening hatred towards his father, which means at any point they should have him gazing maliciously at his father, blaming him for the death of his own mother, and then leaving him the doors of a Buddhist monastery, which would explain Shinji's disregard for conflict. Speaking in his mind, I want you so dead, even smiling when he hears his father might have died in an angel attack. At some point even goes so far as to kill his father with his own hands, which he does with Asuka's help. This would also work to how Shinji and Asuka have an interest in each other. She actually strengthens his conviction to avoid violence. She thinks he is enormous strong even when he doesn't throw a punch and allows whoever to beat the living tar out of him. Because even in such cowardice he is actually standing in place, demonstrating true strength. You could say when she says she hates him, she really hates herself and admires him. She doesn't say this out loud except to herself, because she doesn't anyone to think she is weak. This also makes Shinji and Asuka sort of like a yin and yang bit. She is bossy and actively assertive. Shinji is restrained and passively aggressive. You see, people like Evangelion normally, because of its attempt to be such a grand story, also because of its hype, they fail to see where its imperfections lie and what could make it even better, or at least a complete story. So the writers just produce more characters and make it even less interesting than it originally was. One thing I would have done is not to have made it a struggle of survival for mankind, but rather the struggle of the individual. Instead of having angels, I would have it be an experiment to reap rewards out of potential of humanity at the stake of the individual for the good of all people. This sounds similar, but there are no angels involved. Instead, what you have are monstrosities, which are along with Evangelions using alien technology instead of whatever bullshit they had used in the series. They make Evangelions to fight against what they could call sin. Sin being mankind's foolishness in previously seeking to gain the power of gods, and concentrate on aliens in already possessing this ability, in creating life on Earth. Thereby, mankind is fascinating and ascending to what the elites deem to be their rightful place. Gendo Ikari being one of those elitists himself, who believes mankind's rightful place is among the aliens who have the power of gods. So the take on this is to conquer sin through Evangelions, similar to how in evangelicals believe you can overcome sin through the sole grace of God. It is eventually revealed the sins were intentionally created solely to force young teenagers who suffer from strife or internal complications to continue to do so in an effort to extract a forced evolution in man, to become eventually equal to gods, even though each attempt as prior stated just produces more sin. This would be what the writers of Evangelion should have strived for. Anyway, this is great stuff, but I really wish it weren't censored.